Welcome back, everybody. We're once again in the study. I'm home alone, so if you see me darting, looking off, scared in any direction, it's because this house is kind of old and creaky, and I think I've watched one too many paranormal TV shows. Suffice it to say, when nobody's home and it's dark outside, much like a horse, I spook easily. I wanted to talk a little bit about the tour that I just came back from with my band. This was my first headline tour of all time, first tour with a band. It was really an incredible experience, and I've done a lot of sentimental, bleeding heart, gushing sort of posts on other social media, so I'm gonna use this platform to talk about the dark side of tour. The darkest side and the most pressing issue of tour that I have to bring up is something that I alluded to in the last video, which is a crew member of our tour that did not return home. On the very first show of tour, somebody threw a blue whale plushie on stage that had FM embroidered on it. From that day forward, we took this whale on stage with us. He was on the bass cab, he was our mascot, he was our everything. His name was Rigby, his nickname was Breakbeat. Words can't really describe just how important of a morale booster that Rigby was to our entire operation. When we were packing up at the very last show in Los Angeles, Rigby was nowhere to be found. So if anybody has any information on the whereabouts of Rigby, also known as Breakbeat, the blue whale, please contact me, let me know what's going on, because if somebody stole him off the stage, as long as he's in a loving home, that's okay with me. I just want to make sure that something sinister did not befall Breakbeat, the blue whale. So please let me know. If it was you, don't be shy. And also let me say to the person that gifted us Rigby on that very first show, it was truly a blessing to wind up with an additional band and crewmate. So thank you very much, whoever you are in San Francisco. The second dark side of tour is the scariest thing that happened on the whole tour. When we were driving from California into Oregon, we were in standstill traffic for over 40 minutes because I guess a semi had overturned and there was milk spill all over the freeway. The great milk spill of 2022. When we were trying to figure out what to do, our map showed us that there was an alternate route, and we just so happened to be right by the exit on the freeway. So we get off the freeway and we think that we're really smart, and lo and behold, we wind up at a dirt road. And at that point we think about turning back because the vehicle we were in is a Sprinter. It's not really meant to go off-road, but we decided that it didn't look like it was too extreme and it was going to be a short road, at least according to the GPS. So we start climbing up this road, and every time we'd see a turn in the distance, we would laugh and say, this better not be taking us on that turn. And it just was. Every time we were mountain goating our way up this mountain, the road became very narrow, so we couldn't even turn around if we wanted to. I kept looking over the side of the car, and if we had turned the wheel 3 feet, we would have fallen off this mountain and died. So I was on the edge of my seat, literally. I started having that sort of anxiety that makes your chest kind of tight. I thought that maybe I was gonna have a cardiac event in this car. And little did I know it was just about to get even more horrifying. When we got to sort of a clearing, in front of us was a full tree trunk burnt down on the ground that said, "Keep out," in super scary spray paint. This is some full hills have eyes type shit. My blood ran cold. This event was so spooky that nobody took a photo of that tree. We all felt like seeing that there was some other presence in this property that we were driving around, and I thought that maybe a bullet would come whistling through the trees at any time to try and scare us off. We were about to turn back, but then when we turned around, there was cars approaching, and it was a bunch of guys that had seen us get off the freeway. They saw the tree, and they didn't give a fuck. This group of 4 or 5 guys with backward hats and sunglasses on moved this tree out of the way. We felt fortified by the fraternity of other people that were on this journey with us. So we followed them. And another 10 miles down the road, there is a wooden plank that says, "Locked gate, turn back." If you thought the phrase "keep out" in spooky spray paint was scary, the phrase "turn back" is mortifying. I was frozen, because I'm kind of, as I just mentioned, like a horse, I spook easily. So at this point, you can imagine I'm extremely spooked. Once again, these guys didn't give a fuck. They went cruising up the road, and eventually we wound up at this clearing that had a straight up rusty, old, looked like it was burnt as well, but it could have just been there for years and years and years, just a rusty shell of a VW bug. Long story short, one of the guys was brave enough to go to where there was allegedly a locked gate, and he popped out on the freeway, and so it worked. You know, we followed his lead, and the feeling of relief when we got to the freeway and we were out of that spooky back roads, scary sign world was palpable. It was amazing. That was hands down the scariest part of the tour. That was the dark side of tour, in addition to the loss of Rigby, our mascot and beloved whale. But other than that, the tour was really, really fun, and I'm really grateful to anyone who came out to a show and sang with us and danced and stuff, and it was really great. But as I said, I've already been very sentimental, so if you want to see my sentimental posts, find me elsewhere, because this video is all about the dark side of tour. So there's also been these action figures created in my likeness. There was 6 made. There's 3 different outfits, and there's duplicates of each one. There is the Floral Prince, Death Medic, and the Thrift God outfit, all handmade. And one of them, I gave my mother one of the Floral Prince ones, and Jeff Casazasa, the owner and founder of Run for Cover, has one of the Death Medic ones. So there's one of each available that we're gonna give away through my text line, and the number is gonna pop up here. So if you're already on it, don't worry about it, but if you'd like to join for your chance to win one of these action figures, go ahead. We're gonna give away the one remaining Thrift God duplicate on this channel. So to enter to win that one, subscribe to this channel and leave a comment. You can comment whatever you want. I just ask, to quote Blade, be nice to me. If you wanna sign up for the text list as well to double your chances, that's totally cool. Also, if you have any anonymous tips about Rigby or Breakbeat, please send them to me, because I'm very curious. I'm gonna use the rest of my time here in this empty house to work on some music, and if anything cool is happening, I'll take some footage of it and I'll show you. Much love. Goodbye. Okay, this is something I'm excited about. So before I started recording, and even before I started writing Grow Your Hair Long If You're Wanting to See Something You Can't Change, my album that came out last October, I was beginning to try to produce some songs on the computer, because I was sort of learning about the grid and metronomes and stuff that most people already know, but I didn't really know, because more than 85% of my old material was either recorded live to cassette, or if it was recorded digitally, it was also live, because I had an aversion to metronomes. I had done a couple songs. I recorded Used to Be a Romantic on Logic multi-track, which I was really proud of, because that was a first for me. Headcase is also on Logic, but not to a metronome. I was really struggling to figure out how to make beats on a computer sound as cool as beats that I was making with my, Pocket Operator, or a lot of my beats are made on the Volca Beats. So when I was doing these sessions on the computer, I did 6 songs, and 2 of them, one was I Had a Dream That You Died, and one was I Had My Fun / Back to the Start, and those ones I saw through to the end. But these other ones I just couldn't quite figure out, and so I came back to this session last night, and this song I'm about to show you was the first song that I tried to put an 808 on, and it sounded really bad. I've learned a lot about production in the last year and a half, and actually I only just unlocked how to make 808s not sound like shit like last week. So I've had a really nice time making a whole new 808, changing the pattern. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to mute the vocals on this song so I'm not leaking too much of the track right now, but I'm just going to show you the 808 before and what I made now. Okay, so this is the 808 before. It's not like the worst sounding thing of all time, but it's just not bomb. So let me show you what I just did. I rewrote the 808 pattern, used a different sample, and then I also sampled a snare and a kick to add on top of that loop. And now it sounds like this. And that slaps. I'm not saying it's the best 808 ever made, but it's way better than what I had before. That's just a little secret glimpse into some songs I'm working on, or one song I'm working on.